So Kim Kardashian has spoken up about Balenciaga. There are famous ads that seem to, at least the ads appeared, to be pedophile supportive. Now, we're waiting for Balenciaga to clarify and explain or apologize. And they had more than 48 hours. And Kim Kardashian talked to them, and here's what she reports as part of a tweet thread. She said, I appreciate Balenciaga's removal of the campaigns and apology. Okay, so they apologize. That's good. In speaking with them, I believe they understand the seriousness of the issue and will take the necessary measures for this to never happen again. Well, a good apology also requires you to say that you'll not do it again. What are you going to do differently? So they gave an apology, and they said what they would do differently. So those are good things. So far, so good. And then we get to the part where Balenciaga explains how this could have happened in the first part. That's the most interesting part, right? The apology is necessary, but more than that, we want to know how it happened in the first place. How would a major company allow pro-pedophile stuff on their stuff? And so here's the part where Kim Kardashian is reporting how they explained how it could have ever happened in the first place. And that was it. That was it. No explanation. No explanation to Kim Kardashian that she shared with us. No explanation in the news. No speculation from people who support them. They just confessed to being pedophiles. Well, how else am I supposed to interpret this? There's not really a second way to interpret this, is there? Fox News had an explanation? Did they? Fox News had an explanation. What was that? What was that explanation? First of all, I don't believe you that Fox News had an explanation. I don't believe that. Tucker had an explanation? No, they didn't. Unless the explanation was that pedophiles were part of their process. They repeated whatever was trotted out. Well, the explanation that the photographer was just following orders may be true, but it doesn't explain why he was given those orders. So nobody said, why was the photographer told to photograph this? Right? They all use the same designer for ads, do they? Those various companies. So, well, honestly, how could you, if Kim Kardashian is reporting this straight, and it looks like it, I have no reason to doubt what she says, did she really leave that meeting without getting an explanation of how it happened? I just think about this. Remember, Kim Kardashian, no matter what you think of her, she's not dumb. Can we agree? She's very smart. She didn't get where she is by not being very smart. And you telling me, and she's also, I believe she's studying to try to pass the bar, so she'll have an attorney's qualifications. You don't think she asked the question, how did it happen? Well, let me ask you, do you think she asked the question? How did this ever happen? Do you think she didn't ask that question? Maybe. But whether she asked the question or not, would you agree that Balenciaga has never offered any kind of explanation? Would you agree? They have not offered any kind of explanation. Not a whoops, not a we didn't notice, not a somebody got fired and it won't happen again. Nothing. I mean, to me, this looks like a full confession. How else am I supposed to interpret it? Does everybody agree that this is a full confession? I mean, I would be happy to see any clarification they had. I would take that seriously. But if they don't want to offer a clarification, you are completely within your, I'd say, within your ethical rights to say they have confessed. Am I wrong? They have confessed. This is amazing. Still in business. Still making stuff, or whatever the hell they do. Anyway, yeah, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was the author. So in the Sherlock Holmes, one of the cases was solved by noting that the dogs were not barking. And instead of noticing something happening, Sherlock Holmes was smart enough to notice something that should have been happening that wasn't. And so this is a lesson to all of you. Don't just look at what's happening. Ask yourself what should be happening that isn't. And this screams out for this Balenciaga story. So as you know, there was one of the photographs in a Balenciaga photo shoot. It's a fashion house, in which some police tape showed Balenciaga, or the B-A-L part, misspelled with two A's, B-A-A-L. And now B-A-A-L, coincidentally, or not, happens to be a Canaanite demon god. Pagans ritualistically sacrificed children to this demon. So it's the demon of child sacrifice. All right, now Balenciaga, being accused, rightly or wrongly, we do not know, of putting what appears to be pedophile positive images in their photo shoots. Now that's the accusation. But part of the accusation is that there's no way in the world it could be an accident that this B-A-A-L thing was part of the shoot. And then it turns out that the name Balenciaga, if you break out the parts and if you make the first part the B-A-L, if you turn it into B-A-A-L, then the second part of it, the Balenciaga part, means something like, praising that. So it means like praising the god of child sacrifice. Now, is that a coincidence? Could be. That could be it. Oh, Bal is king, right. The Balenciaga apparently means in whatever language that Bal guy is king. Now, could that be a coincidence? Absolutely. Oh, it's Latin? Is it Latin? So could it be a coincidence that the name Balenciaga sounds so terrible in this context? That could be a coincidence, yeah. To me, that would not be a super big coincidence. It would be a funny one, but I would still call it a coincidence, right? We see these all the time. But where's the dog that's not barking? Does anybody see the dog not barking? Or do you hear the dog not barking? What's missing in the story so far? What's the most obvious thing that you would expect to know by now that you do not know? Are you really all missing this? Where the name came from is interesting, but I think that's going to be a dry hole. Thank you, Erica the Excellent. Yeah. Here's what's missing. Erica said who ordered it, like who bought that tape and who put it there. Yes, but I would generalize that a little bit more, and I would say, how did we get to today without Balenciaga issuing a statement that says, oh, about that tape, there's an innocent explanation, and here it is? Where is it? Isn't that the most obvious thing that should have happened by now? I mean, it's been days. You don't think Balenciaga knows internally where that tape came from and why it's there? Of course they do. Why are they not telling you? Well, it can't be a good reason, right? Do you think that the heads of Balenciaga know that the tape is a complete coincidence, accidental thing, and they've just decided not to mention it in public? They have a perfectly innocent explanation. They just decided not to tell you. Does that sound right? Now, how many of you didn't notice that dog that wasn't barking? Raise your hand in the comments if you didn't notice that the most obvious thing is missing. Which one of your news sources, yeah, I think Ye said it. Which one of your news sources told you that's missing? None of them. None of them. Nobody said that's missing. Nobody said we asked for a comment and we didn't get one. Did you? Have you heard anybody say we asked Balenciaga to comment on the BAAL tape and they decided not to, or they gave us this response? Right? What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on that nobody asked the most obvious question? Well, and weirdly, most of you didn't even notice it wasn't asked. You think Kim Kardashian asked? She may have asked, but we didn't hear any answer. Styx did? Of course. Right. Yeah, Styx and Hammer did, because it's an obvious question for anybody who's an informed consumer of news. Give us some news. All right, well, there's going to be another one of those coming up that'll be just as shocking.